All right, Evan J. Thomas here with Badass Productions. We're doing our all-access little interview here with Mr. John Fred of Blackstone Cherry. What's going on, man?
Dude, just hanging out. How are you doing?
Doing well. So we're doing selfie-style video, which I really don't ever do. So this should be.
It looks
pretty
good though.
interesting.
You got it
It
rocking,
does,
dude.
Yeah, but I want you more in it than I want me. So
Do you want me to hold it?
No, I just don't want my big ass head in it.
I'm good with sticks, man. Come on.
That's true. You good with sticks? Hold
Hang on. I've actually never used one of these in my life.
So never use.
These things
the
are
selfie
awesome.
stick. They
See
are
dudes at the
fantastic.
beach using them.
So we're at the Apollo, what is it, Music Hall
Yeah.
here in Belvedere, Illinois. You guys have been all over lately. Mainly this past weekend you were at Northern Invasion.
Yes, we were.
How did that show go? How was it?
Northern Invasion was great. The cool thing about it is it was not freezing because man, we played 2 years ago and it was like 20 something degrees, and it was the coldest I think I've ever played outside. But it was nice. I mean, we had a good show. We left there. We had a day off and we spent it at Walmart and we rocked it out. That's how we do our days off.
So it really
man.
wasn't freezing because man, the other day out here it was cold as shit.
It was. I mean, it was chilly, but it wasn't one of those days where you're like, you got to wear long sleeves, you got to like, do the whole like thermals and because we did a show a couple years ago in. I'm gonna go with this.
There
yeah.
you go. Look better
we
that way.
we did a show in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and it was us and ZZ Top and actually my dad's band, the Headhunters, played, and that was like 15 degrees. And it was the coldest. I felt bad for Billy and Dusty and those guys because they didn't even know they were playing outside until they got there, because but it was that was a good show. But you run into situations like that where you're outside and it's cold, I mean, you just got to kind of make green.
And
bear it,
obviously
man.
you being the drummer, you really don't need much to cover you because you stay warm, just wailing away.
I get cold though.
Sure,
I do. I mean,
Good point.
if we're Ben and I always say, the best places to play are inside when it's hot. Like we hate air conditioning, man. Like
Really?
I'm a very cold natured person, so like I probably in a former life I probably lived on the beach. I mean, I can't take cold weather. But no, Northern Invasion was good, and then we're here doing the theater tonight, and then we have a day off, and we play. We're gonna be playing the Machine Shop, Flint, Michigan, which is great.
I gotta get up there, man.
Dude, listen, have you ever been there?
Never been there, but I heard it's amazing.
That place is unreal, dude.
We're going different angles like every 2 seconds.
I know. Well, that's what you want to do. You want some different angles. No, it's great. Kevin, those guys, the Machine Shop, are like to me, that is the new CBGBs in America. I mean, it is.
Everybody says they want to play there.
Yeah, and it's not some big huge place, but it's just the fact that like the vibe is great, and it's like all the staff and they really know how to absolutely accommodate every rock band that comes through there. So definitely a good. If you've never seen a show at the Machine Shop or you're a band and wants to play there, I would highly suggest it.
So I get a lot of people that say, "Hey, what type of music is Blackstone Cherry?" If you were to describe to somebody who's never heard you, what would you say? I know what I would say. But
That's hard. What would you say?
I would say straight rock and roll, kind of a 70s vibe with a little country thrown in.
Yeah, that's good. That's really.
'Cause I was listening to basically your whole catalog on the way all day today. And
Oh,
it's
cool.
just phenomenal from front to back.
Well, we appreciate that. We, obviously we started out in 2006. The band formed in 2001.
You guys been around for a long time.
We've been around a minute, man. Yeah. So I mean, not exactly the green young dudes on
Yeah,
that circuit.
exactly.
We're not old or anything, but it's just like we've got a little age on us, a little sophistication now.
You got the gray coming in.
Yeah, I got a little salt and pepper.
We all do.
But no, I think with every album we've definitely made a different album. It's not been the same record twice, and that's just through growth, and obviously, man, I think this last album, Family Tree, really brought out. It just allowed us to bring back a lot of those roots and all the bands that we grew up listening to. We for a long time we were on a previous label that they pushed really hard to try to make us sound like a more of a radio, friendly band, and we just, we made some good records doing that. I mean, still, yeah, I know there's so much traffic here, but the thing about it is we're more of a live band, and when we record in the studio, we figured out like, man, it's just we have to go in and not rehearse too much, and go in there and just play it off the cuff,
Just want to make sure it's still recording.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We're rocking.
We're
4:58. 5 minutes in. But making this record was cool. We actually took a time. You want to hold it a minute? You want to hold this magic wand? I got to work on my biceps a little bit in a week, man.
You'll get there.
Yeah, I know, man. I gotta just push ups. We actually back in the fall we did a record called Black to Blues, and it was our first EP that we ever did.
Okay.
And it was cool because we took all these old influences from all the old, blues guys and stuff, and we actually, growing up, took all those influences. But we always wanted to do a covers EP.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, and that we did that 6 days, man. We went in and recorded and didn't really think it would do what it did, and we just wanted to put it out because we were at the end of the Kentucky cycle, and we were like, hey, look, we need something to do, something that's it's cool, and we were kind of getting antsy anyway. And so we went in and did 6 songs, and man, it was like it was incredible. I mean, and it really pushed us to create Family Tree the way we did. We didn't rehearse, we just went in and we just called out songs. We were like, let's go record that one. And that's what was really cool, because when we did go record Family Tree, we went in with the same mindset of not over producing anything, and it was fun. A lot of high energy, a lot of stuff, a lot of creative mistakes happen when you don't practice something to death, and that was what was really cool about making Family Tree. And of course we're on Mascot Records now, and they're out of Holland. They have a New York office and a London office, and they just really let us be who we are, finally. First time like in a long time, man. We signed on with them for Kentucky, and then this is our second record off that label. But Kentucky was still we were kind of in our chest puff mode, A lot of this that's probably the darkest record I think we've ever done. But I think Family Tree is just the accumulation of all of our great Southern rock influences and our classic rock and blues and country, and so we're proud of it, man. It's definitely it's a good record. I'm proud of it.
That's good. And coming from Kentucky, obviously, like you said, you have that Southern roots there. Your dad was in a band.
Yeah.
Still in a band. So you must have started really early in life.
I did. I started when.
Man, am I losing my
it's okay.
my vibe there?
When I was 14, Chris and I started actually playing music together, because we've been together since we were in kindergarten. And my dad and my uncle play in the band, the Kentucky Headhunters, and they were huge instrumental force in us, doing what we're doing today, and in the beginning too, because we took over their practice house on my grandparents' farm, and that's where they rehearsed in the 70s, all those years.
Yeah, I was reading up on that.
Yeah, it's and it's actually on the cover of Kentucky, the record.
Okay.
So, yeah, but man, we owe a lot to those guys, because they taught us, who to listen to, what underground records that, it wasn't just Led Zeppelin or the Beatles or the Stones or Skinner or Aerosmith. It was all the crazy stuff. Yeah, that not a lot of people know about, So, and that was really instrumental in kind of carving out who we are as musicians. And I think, as far as like the other guys, their influences, I mean, Chris's dad played guitar for years, still does. His grandfather was he made mandolins and violins. He was an excellent craftsman. So I mean, he had that background. And then Ben was dressing up as Elvis since he was 4 years old, and
so
going and dancing for people. He's been working it. And John grew up. His parents were into Southern rock and classic rock, and so we have all these influences.
It all vibed really well for all four of you together.
Oh, it was something spiritual from the cosmos, man. For all of us to come together and make Black Stone Cherry, and same 4 guys, man, since 2001. So we're very, very lucky to get to play music and be as tight as we are.
So speaking of 2001, it's been basically 17 years since you've been a band.
Wow.
17
years. That's a long time, man.
So when you first broke in, what was the one thing that you really needed to do as a band to kind of get your stuff out there? I'm a publicist now too.
Yeah.
So I hear a lot of bands saying, it's all bullshit. It's not. We all know that actual working with a PR
promoting
company,
your band, yeah, it's very important.
Working with a PR company is important, and being with the right people, not just always trying to do it yourself. Because doing it yourself, it's kind of a little harder because you have so many things you got to worry about.
Now, are you saying me giving advice to like a startup band,
Correct.
to a brand new
yeah,
band?
so if you were to give advice to a band, would you say PR is one of the most important things to kind of get started, or just kind of connections on where you play? Like, do you want to play 100 shows a year and not get paid for anything, or what's like your?
There's no right
way to do it.
But I will tell you this, because obviously when we started playing,
around this way.
we were in a different time. You know, this was like 17, 18 years ago. So we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have social media, Twitter, Instagram. What we would do is we would literally go. We had what did we have?
A street team.
I'm talking still on social media. We had ICQ. That was way back in the day. Yeah, that's some old stuff.
You didn't have AOL Messenger?
We had that too, man. But what we would do is like I remember the first website we ever created was back in 2001, and still the internet was rolling then, but the social media side of things had not come in. So we would have to hit the streets. We'd have to put up posters. We'd have to call people. A lot of the places we played were not rock venues, because where we're located in Kentucky, we didn't have a huge. There's a huge music scene there, but there wasn't venues like if you were to go to Atlanta or Chicago or New York or LA.
For sure.
So we had to just basically ask people to play their places. Like, we played Mexican restaurants.
You played everywhere then.
We turned
bars probably.
Oh, dude. Well, no, we didn't have any bars because our county was dry then. Couldn't sell alcohol. So what we had to do was we had to play like
backyard parties.
We had backyard parties. We had churches. we had like a Catholic
you guys playing
center
at a church would be great.
The Mexican restaurant, churches. We changed there was one night a week on Fridays where we asked this country western line dance place to do rock shows on Friday night.
Okay.
So that was and we had to beg, and it was an old place called the Factory. We just shot our Bad Habit video there, and and yeah, so we would do that, and we would grind, man. We were so driven to do music. We didn't, if I had one of the best piece of advice I have for any young band that's starting out is be original. Like, if you've got 100 different influences, that's great. Don't try to take all those influences and make something new in your band. Don't try to sound like this band or this band over here. I mean, and obviously you can listen to our music and like we were influenced by Led Zeppelin, Skinner. So
exactly.
you can name it, but there's so much stuff that we were influenced that people might not know about. And when you're making a band, the thing that separates your band from everything else that's going on is you have to sound different, even if people don't like it at first. Because people still today, like, you either love or hate Southern rock and certain bands, and like we're one of those bands. There's not a gray area, and that's good though, because even if people don't like it, you're gonna have people that really like it. So you don't want to be right there in the middle of that gray area, man. You want to be like, you want to define your sound. You want to define who you are as a band. And now with social media, it's so much easier to get your name out and get people to come to your shows. I mean, that was something we didn't have. It wasn't a tool that we even would knew that was going to come about. So but I think too, you got to find something else really important. You got to find some people that you really, really love and want to play music with, and that whole camaraderie and the brotherhood, and that's very important, because you can't put all your time and effort into a band if not everybody is on the same mindset.
Page.
Yeah.
Correct. Do you think bands nowadays are getting lazy because of social media too? Do you think more people need to actually go out? Because back in the day, when I go to metal rock shows in the late 90s, early 2000s, there were always people handing out flyers after shows.
I think
CDs, tapes, Nowadays, it's not the same.
It's not. No, I think, hey, look, technology
has
made us a little lazy. Sure, it's one of the most important tools we have now, and it's also, it can be a hindrance too.
Correct.
But I think that with bands, as long as you are, if you're an upstart band, if you're brand new and you're out there, working it, and you feel like you're doing, you're doing everything you can, then that's great. I think that no stone should be left unturned. I mean, even if it seems like it's old school, like if you're going to a mall and you're putting out flyers, I mean, I don't know how successful you're going to be at that, but if it works for you, go for it, man. But but social media has definitely made it a lot more. It's a lot easier for bands to get their name out, and I see a lot of bands that are younger and they're just starting up, and they already got like 10 or 15,000 followers on Instagram or Facebook, and that's great, man. I mean, golly, if we'd had that back in the day, I think we had like
shit.
200 people on our website.
I think I still do.
But it's just all about what
about
works for
promotion,
you too.
Who you talk to. You
Yeah.
got to get out. To me, you still got to get out and do the groundwork.
Oh, the legwork's incredibly important. I mean,
Yeah.
I think too is researching, staying up on the music business too, because the music business is changing every hour.
Yeah.
If you had said to somebody 5, 6, 7 years ago that streaming was going to be the pinnacle of where we are now, people wouldn't have believed you. I remember I was in.
And that's what I was listening to was Spotify.
Oh, I know. I was
typed
in.
right into Spotify, pulled you guys right up, boom.
Spotify is a great tool. Obviously, in the beginning, I know it was hated by a lot of songwriters because they weren't paying the royalties. I think now they've actually
Kind of switched it over a
yeah,
little bit.
well, they've restructured a lot of stuff, and I think too, with streaming though is I think in obviously we're seeing it now. There are record stores that are blossoming, vinyl stores that 10 years ago people were putting vinyl out like in the trash.
Yes, exactly.
So I mean, history repeats itself, and I mean, I don't know how long streaming will be around. It might be around for a decade, it might be around longer, but I think that the most important thing for a band, this is one of the things that I tell people is you have to put on a great live show, because
Correct.
that's the one thing that you
will
can't.
bring people back.
It'll
too.
bring people back, and you can't
Fake it.
yeah, you can't.
Sorry, I'm like
well, you
answering
can.
your questions.
You can fake it, but you shouldn't fake it. You should
Yeah.
play. You should really
Yes, you can.
hone in your musicianship and try to put on the best live show you can, because people are paying for it and they want to see that.
True. So looking forward to tonight, what do you expect out of here compared to Northern Invasion, where you had probably tens of thousands of people?
Yeah, there were a lot of people there. I think though for us is it's great to play the festivals and things like that. I mean, we're playing some Guns N' Roses. We're playing
You
Download
guys are
this
going
year.
to UK
Yeah, that's
in about 2 months.
Yep. No, it's about 2 weeks.
Oh,
2
June,
weeks.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. We're going.
festival.
We're doing a lot of doing Rock am Ring and Rock am Park in Germany, and then we go through Switzerland, Italy. We're playing in Holland, and then we do Download, which is
Yeah.
the UK's biggest rock festival, one of the
Huge.
biggest in the world. Yeah, it's 100,000 people. So that's going to be great. But I mean, honestly, doing the headline shows for us is we might have 400, 500, 600 people, but like it's so much more intimate, and you get to really and as everybody knows, like we're not the one of the bigger rock bands in America, when you compare it to all these other great bands out there. But I think that the cool thing about it is like when we get in our own realm, we really get to play longer. Obviously, some of the festival shows here, we're we're
30
middle of the day,
minutes.
or third from fourth from the top. So 45 minutes, 50 minutes, it's not enough to really do our show.
Justice.
We get we're playing 2 hours a night. We actually put in the Blackstone Cherry Law now. We're not doing the same set list twice ever again. So
Really?
it's brand new set list every single day.
So listen to that. If you're out here
Yeah.
in Belvedere, definitely check out. Obviously, you're gonna see a new set every fucking show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and we're looking for Bigfoot out here in the woods today too.
Or I think he's probably behind us somewhere.
He is.
I know we saw the big bumblebee. But John Fred, man, I want to appreciate
Dude,
your time.
thank you very much.
you so
Thank
much.
you. Had a good
And,
time.
I can't wait to see you guys. I've never seen you live, so
Well, I'll
this
tell
will
you
be a
what.
treat for me.
I'm glad you're getting to see us. We played here. I think this was.
you played here.
Yeah, we played here. It
This
wasn't
venue?
last year. It was 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago we played here. Yeah,
Oh, shit.
yeah, it was really cool. This place is a great old place to play, man. I like for us too. Like we like playing the older historic venues that we.
They're cool as hell.
Oh yeah, we were out with Government Mule for the last month, and which those guys, if you never heard of Government Mule,
I've heard of them.
you have to go check them out. Warren Haynes and Matt Apps, those guys are just insane. And we were, going to school each night, man, having to, playing and watching those guys play. But we were playing a lot of the really, really historic theaters, and it was great because like so much history. And after the show and stuff, we would like get the promoter, somebody to take us through the whole building, and oh, it's crazy.
That's
man.
what I was hoping to do with you guys, but
Let's go. We'll do it next time.
time happened.
We'll do it
Yeah,
next time.
I
Absolutely.
would love to. So make sure you get the new album,
Family Tree.
It's out now, and listen to the new song. I listened to it a couple times today. Bad Habit. I was actually at the gym, took my headphones off, and it was on the fucking loudspeaker.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah,
cool, man.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I actually looked up. I'm like, holy shit, they're playing over at Export Fitness. I never thought I would be.
Nice, nice.
So you're on their rotation over there too.
Well, that's good. That's good. We
But I mean,
we
literally
need to
took
we
it
need to
off,
get in the
took it
gym and
off.
not just on their playlist. But yeah.
Cool, man. I appreciate
Hey,
your time.
dude.